Welcome to the very first episode of our new podcast, Off the Record. Great to have you with us.
Actually, it's supposed to be called Beer After Four. Nope.
Nope, not anymore.
The chosen name should be suitable for all languages, including French, English, and potential future languages. Hello, I would also like to extend my warm welcome. I am extremely delighted.
But the beer after four, so the beer hasn't been completely lost yet, has it?
No, not that, and that's why I'm posting first.
Cheers. So, in terms of our podcast vibe, I think Off the Record is a great fit. We want to keep things casual and inject some humor into our conversations. And importantly, we want to speak in a straightforward manner. Call a spade, and not just gloss over things.
What is it about?
It's about cultural change. Of course, the whole thing will also be serious. It will also be critical, questioning, and personal. Hopefully also funny and entertaining. I think we can manage that.
But not a new channel, please.
Yes, sometimes you just have to introduce a new channel. I think the podcast is actually the perfect channel for that. It's easy to consume, whether on the train or in the car. The channel is completely location independent and also time independent.
So it's the channel.
That's the channel.
It's the channel.
Exactly. Off the Record.
Exactly. Do you think they all know who we are? Who's talking right now?
I hope so. Who are you?
I'm Dashi. I'm in the communications team and responsible for everything to do with digital transformation, always at the forefront. And some people will see and get to know me more in the future, especially through the Siemens Accelerator boot camps. It's not an advertisement, but I just wanted to mention it here. Good, Eray. Mr. Müller, everyone knows your head.
Yes, I am Mr. Viva Engage, so to speak. That's how it is. I've achieved more fame with Viva Engage than I did in my 10 years in the rock band. But yes, I have to live with that now. Otherwise, I'm still in the people engagement team at communications. And that's internal communications on the one hand, of course. We want to involve the employees, but we also want to make sure that everyone feels comfortable and can identify with the company. Yes, as I said, we want to take a critical look at cultural issues and cultural change in the next few episodes. I think that's a very hot topic, not just at Siemens. There are lots of people who have been doing something for 30 years in exactly the same way as they have always done it. I'm sure you know them too, right? Does it actually work?
All right, that's not cool.
Yes, absolutely. I think a lot of people are simply afraid of change. Can I do that? Do they still need me? Can someone perhaps do it better, faster, cheaper?
I can understand that too. It's also a topic that is not without its challenges and should not be taken lightly. There are still plenty of people who roll their eyes at the topic or just the word cultural change. They also say to themselves, oh, I don't need all that stuff. It's all rubbish. Yes, it doesn't make it any better. I am uncertain, or maybe we do know, but that is the topic we truly desire to discuss because there is a desire for change. It is also a positive thing and offers many opportunities. It's important for growth and success, both professionally and privately, in my view.
No. Yes, I agree with that. I think Siemens Switzerland is actually a very good example of this. I mean, this year we have been operating successfully in Switzerland for 130 years. That would probably not have been possible without change. I believe that change is necessary in order to move forward. When I think about what the company looked like 130 years ago and what it looks like today, they are two different worlds. What does change mean to you personally?
Change is very multifaceted. For me personally, it's exactly what you've already said. Moving forward, i.e., developing personally and broadening my professional and personal horizons, keeping up with change, trying out new things, and also taking away your own fear of trying things. And that's part of it for me. It may be a part of it, but for me, it's very fundamental when we talk about cultural change.
In terms of staying marketable, it's also important for both of us to consider that we have roughly another 25 years of working ahead of us. I believe there are still many experiences that we have yet to encounter.
Have you done the math correctly with the 20 years?
Yes, maybe there will be more. I think so too. And Siemens in particular, I mean, an environment is being promoted here where this change is possible. But you also have to want to benefit. If you don't want to, then it won't work. If you stand still, you won't get anywhere. I think digital learning is a very exciting example. I think in the past you went on a training course, worked on it for another 5 years and then did another training course. Today we are constantly learning, but that only works if we participate. The opportunities are there. A few years ago this was completely new, and today we talk about learning hours. We compare our learning hours that we see on the Hello page, and that is a great indication for me that we are also living with this topic.
That's true. I've been at Siemens for a year now, and the first thing I saw was Hello pages and digital learning hours. Digital learning hours, I'm like, digital what? And that has really been with me from day one, or has been with me to this day. And it was really very noticeable, not just the digital learning hours, but the culture at Siemens. It was incredibly overwhelming for me right from the very beginning. Speaking of digital learning hours, we like to measure ourselves. How many hours do you have?
71.
Phew. Not me.
Not you? Are you less?
There's still room for improvement.
No,
I won't give you the number now.
You're also open to new things, aren't you?
Definitely. And that's also very important. And when you ask me what it means for me personally, and what you've already addressed, being curious, being inquisitive, trying things out, the environment has to allow it. We know that. But also just leave the comfort zone, and that includes the podcast. The very first time for me.
For me too, completely new. I am very pleased that we can now talk together about this very important topic, which is very close to both our hearts. I have been with Siemens for almost 15 years now. When I think back to when I started, the company has changed so much. And then came the pandemic. There was such a big upheaval during the pandemic. Cultural issues suddenly became much more important. I remember that we started with coronavirus communication 4 years ago. The most important thing for Philip and me was to keep people informed. Home office regulations there, new protection concept and everything. But the longer it went on, the more it was also about cultural issues. We prepared ourselves for the new normal. How will we work together in the future? How will we work together during the pandemic? How do we still see our team when we all have to sit at home? And that's where I realized that it's simply a very big, exciting topic that is still on our minds today. We recently asked in the pulse check what impact this new world of work is having on team collaboration, and 3/4 of employees think it's having a very positive effect. I think that's a very good sign.
That's a decent house number.
Who would have thought that a few years ago?
I certainly wouldn't have.
I need to take a sip.
Yes. Cheers.
Shall we reveal what the beer is all about?
Absolutely. The podcast, It's So Beautiful to Eray with you, but we won't be alone. That means we'll have guests, of course. And discuss a wide variety of topics with different experts, everything to do with cultural change. And as Eray said at the beginning, we'll be critical, questioning, and honest. The idea is that each guest brings their own favorite beer or drink and tells their own story about it. Ideally, it should always be something new that we might not know, because that's what it's all about, trying out new things and getting to know them. And yes, I think we've brought something for ourselves today, haven't we?
The beer you brought me is very tasty. I don't think I've ever had it before. What is it exactly?
It's Düsseldorf Altbier. Dark beer.
Okay, but it tastes good.
Was still fresh. It's also fresh and tasty. The first sip always takes a bit of getting used to. But after the second, it's fine.
Good.
And the good thing is that it's not a so-called copping beer, so you won't get a headache afterwards.
I was just hoping you wouldn't bring me a Kölsch.
If you had mistaken it for Kölsch, that would really be an insult.
That would be an insult.
That would be a real insult. What am I drinking here?
You have an Oesterbräu, and as the name suggests, It comes from Uster. That's a town in the Zurich Oberland. And I come from the Zurich Oberland too. I hope it tastes good.
Delicious. Good. Yes, I think it's good. I think it's very digestible.
I think we should now tell you what we'll be
else?
talking about in the coming episodes.
What do you think? I'd love to. It's already been addressed in one place or another. It's very much about the topic of strengths, mistakes, error culture. What's that all about? Do we live in an open error culture? Are mistakes allowed? Yes, no. Do you make mistakes, Jur?
Lots of them. Really? I never do. Never. I believe that. And
certainly not now. And thank God we make mistakes. So that's what it's all about, growing. And if you don't try it out, mistakes are part of it for us. And the key word here is growing with mistakes, a growth mindset, which is also very important to us and to Siemens and part of our culture. And as we have said several times, the willingness to constantly learn something new. It's really all a matter of attitude. And yes, the topic, or rather the other way around, you've probably heard the saying, we're both equally young. Culture eats strategy for breakfast. Yes, a bit 90s, but I've clearly read Culture Eats Mindset for Breakfast. Well, I'm not sure if it's a generational trait amongst Gen Z, but I'm keen on comprehending the exact significance. However, that conversation will have to wait for another time. Our company is dedicated to the principles of diversity, inclusion, and providing equal opportunities. We value collaboration and encourage creativity.
Empowerment and a willingness to experiment. That's probably my favorite topic. Furthermore, it's also a valuable keyword.
Because
while making preparations, we also considered how to utilize this podcast to connect with our colleagues who speak both French and English. To tackle this, we discovered an AI tool that not only translates our voices, but also replicates them. To our amazement, the tool performed exceptionally well during the tests, allowing us to speak French effortlessly. The results were astonishing.
Quite frightening.
It was quite a frightening experience, yes. Admittedly,
Perfect.
The whole thing is not without flaws. We are eager to receive your valued feedback. However, the topic holds such importance to us that it naturally pushed us to offer it in both French and English, and potentially in other languages as well. Additionally, we sincerely hope that you will continue to follow along. To ensure you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast immediately. Rest assured, we will notify you via Viva Engage when new content becomes available. However, that's not all.
Oh no. You've engaged, haven't you, the channel?
Yes, of course you can't do it without Viva Engage.
Yes, okay, good. But then moderately, please. We tend to communicate as communicators.
Exactly, a flood of information. We know that.
I know that very well. No, we'll do that. We'll be there. No need to worry, we won't overload it. The experience promises to be enjoyable. Rest assured, this channel is genuinely honest too.
Yes.
Yes, we're really looking forward to it. So I'm really looking forward to the coming months, to the guests, and I hope that we can make a difference.
I hope so too. Yes, on that note, thank you for listening. That was the first episode of Off the Record. We look forward to having you back for the next episode.
Absolutely. So cheers.
Cheers.
You know, I prefer canned beer, right?
Yes, but it just doesn't sound so nicely.